Ethan leaned back in his chair, stretching his arms over his head as he looked around his small, dimly lit space station apartment. The faint hum of the life support systems and the soft blinking of panels were the only sounds filling the room. Outside, the distant stars shimmered in a black canvas, endless and quiet, while the station floated silently above a faraway planet. This isolation had become normal to him, but tonight there was a sense of calm he hadn't felt in a long time. He was tinkering with a small drone, adjusting its propulsion system. A few wires were loose and the thrusters were misaligned. It wasn't anything important, just a hobby project, but it kept his mind busy and his hands working. The quietness was comforting, and for once he could think without interruption. That calm shattered suddenly. There was a sharp click and the door to his apartment slid open faster than it should. Ethan spun around, startled, reaching instinctively for the tool on his table. Standing in the doorway was a figure he had never seen before. She was tall and graceful, with a presence that immediately filled the room. Her hair fell like a cascade of dark silk, and her eyes, large and luminous, seemed to glow faintly in the soft light. She didn't look human, yet she was breathtakingly familiar in some way, as if she belonged to the universe itself. "I'm sorry for coming in like this," she said, her voice calm but commanding. "I didn't have time to announce myself." Ethan blinked, unsure if he had heard her correctly. He had lived among space stations, engineers, and traders, but this was something else entirely. Who are you?" he managed to ask, trying to hide the shock in his voice. "I'm Leora," she said, stepping fully into the apartment. Her movements were precise and fluid, almost like she was gliding rather than walking. "I need your help." "It's urgent." Ethan opened his mouth to respond, but found no words. She wasn't waiting for an answer. Instead, she reached toward the device she had carried in her arms. It looked like a small, intricate machine, covered in unfamiliar symbols and glowing panels. "This," she said, setting it down on his table, "is a technology from my world. It's damaged, and if it fails completely, it could endanger my planet." Ethan's mind raced. A technology capable of endangering an entire planet? That sounded impossible. And yet the device in front of him pulsed softly, almost alive, as if it was waiting for him to understand it. "I don't know if I can help," Ethan said cautiously. "I'm just an engineer here. I've never worked on alien tech before." Leora tilted her head slightly, studying him. "That may be exactly why I need you. Humans think differently. You see possibilities others cannot. Your creativity, your intuition. It may be the only way to fix this." Ethan felt a mix of pride and fear. The thought that he, an ordinary human, might hold the key to saving an entire world was overwhelming. He took a deep breath, steadying himself. "All right," he said finally. "Show me what's wrong." She handed him the device, and he examined it carefully. It was smaller than he expected, but the complexity was staggering. Its circuits didn't follow any pattern he recognized, and the energy flows inside it seemed almost alive, shifting and pulsing unpredictably. "Where do I even start?" he muttered under his breath. "Start with what you know," Leora said softly. "You don't need to understand everything the way we do. Just find the solution that works." Ethan nodded, feeling a spark of determination. He began by isolating small circuits, testing connections, and tracing energy flows. He had to improvise because much of the technology defied logic based on human standards, yet somehow his instincts guided him. His hands moved confidently, and small corrections began to stabilize the device. Leora watched silently, her eyes wide with interest. She had expected many things from humans: curiosity, bravery, stubbornness, but this improvisation was unexpected. "You may have more potential than I thought," she murmured, almost to herself. Hours passed. Ethan worked tirelessly, making minor adjustments, rewiring circuits, and recalibrating energy flows. Every so often, the device would pulse erratically, and he had to make split-second decisions. Leora offered guidance, explaining the principles behind the device, but she never told him what to do. She knew he had to discover the solutions himself. As he worked, Ethan couldn't help but feel the enormity of the situation. If he failed, a planet could be lost, and yet the challenge exhilarated him. He was human, and humans thrived when tested. His mind raced faster, connecting ideas, predicting outcomes, and improvising solutions in ways that even Leora hadn't anticipated. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the device emitted a steady, soft glow. Its energy stabilized, humming in harmony with the room. Ethan leaned back, breathing heavily, a mix of exhaustion and triumph washing over him. "You did it," Leora said, her voice filled with awe. She stepped closer, her eyes shining with admiration. I didn't think a human could solve this." Ethan smiled faintly, still catching his breath. "I just figured out what made sense." "No," she said, shaking her head. "You did more than that. You adapted. You thought creatively, differently. That is something only humans can do." He looked at her, puzzled. "Really?" "Yes," she said, a smile playing at her lips. "Your species has a unique way of seeing the universe. We have knowledge, we have technology, but we lack your intuition, your ability to improvise under pressure. Today you saved my world with your thinking alone." Ethan felt a strange pride. He had always known humans were special in their own ways. But hearing it from an alien, someone from a civilization far beyond his own, made it feel real. The atmosphere in the room shifted. Leora's presence was no longer just startling, it was inspiring. She radiated confidence, grace, and intelligence, and Ethan realized that they were no longer just engineer and alien envoy. They were collaborators, each complementing the other's strengths. Suddenly, a warning light blinked on the device. Ethan frowned, rushing to check it. A minor fluctuation had appeared, a ripple in the energy output. "It's not completely stable yet," he said, frowning. Leora's expression remained calm. "It will take more time. But you have done the hardest part. Humans are persistent. You have the patience we lack." Together, they spent hours refining the device. Leora explained its alien systems, and Ethan continued to adapt, combining his human intuition with her guidance. Slowly, the device reached full stability. Its energy flowed smoothly, humming like a living thing, responding to their combined input. Ethan leaned back, finally allowing himself a small smile. "There, that should do it." Leora's eyes sparkled. "You have proven what humans can do when they are given the chance. Your species is underestimated across the stars. Today you changed that perception." Ethan shook his head, laughing softly. "I'm just me." "No," Leora said firmly. "You are more than that. You are human, and humans are special." The two of them sat in silence for a moment, listening to the soft hum of the stabilized device. Outside, the stars continued their silent dance. And for the first time, Ethan felt a connection to something far larger than himself, a reminder that even an ordinary human could leave a mark on the universe. "You'll have to teach me more about your thinking," Leora said, breaking the silence. "There is so much your kind could do if we worked together." Ethan chuckled. "I'd like that, but for now, I need to rest. This has been a long night." Leora nodded, smiling faintly. "Rest well, human. Tomorrow we will begin the next phase. Your mind may be the key to saving more than just my planet." Ethan watched her as she stepped back toward the door. Even in the quiet of the small apartment, her presence seemed to linger, a reminder that the universe was bigger than he had ever imagined, and that humans, with all their creativity, courage, and stubbornness, had a role to play among the stars. As the door slid shut behind her, Ethan leaned back, closing his eyes. Tonight had been unexpected. Tonight had been extraordinary, and somehow deep inside he knew that this was only the beginning. Somewhere out there, in the dark expanse of space, adventure awaited, and for the first time Ethan felt ready to meet it. The next morning, sunlight, or what passed for sunlight through the station's artificial lighting, filtered into Ethan's apartment. He sat at his workbench, staring at the device they had stabilized the night before. The soft hum was steady, reassuring. It was still alien, still complicated, and yet, after hours of study, he felt a growing familiarity with its rhythm. There was a gentle knock at the door. Before he could respond, it slid open, and Leora stepped inside. She moved with the same elegance as yesterday, her presence commanding attention without effort. Ethan noticed a small tool case she had brought with her. "Good morning, human," she said, her voice calm but carrying a faint undertone of excitement. "I hope you slept well." Ethan smiled, rubbing his eyes. "Better than expected. And you? Did you sleep?" "Sleep is different for my kind," she replied. "I rested enough. Today we continue." Ethan gestured to the device. "You mean more work on this?" "Yes," she said, stepping closer. "The device is stabilized, yes, but it is not yet ready for full deployment. Its energy is balanced, but the interface systems are still fragile. Your human intuition is required to complete the final adjustments." Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility again. He knew this would not be a simple task. Alien technology had layers of complexity that challenged even the brightest minds. And yet he had a confidence growing inside him. Humans thrived on challenges, and he was no exception. He started by analyzing the energy pathways, tracing each pulse as it moved through the circuits. Leora watched silently, occasionally offering subtle hints when he paused or looked puzzled. Her observations were precise, and Ethan noticed that she didn't give him direct instructions. Instead, she guided him to think, to explore solutions, and to test possibilities that were uniquely human. Hours passed, and Ethan began experimenting with minor modifications. He connected small adaptive circuits, recalibrated energy flows, and adjusted control sequences. Each adjustment caused the device to react differently, pulsing in new patterns, sometimes stabilizing, sometimes not. Leora's eyes followed every movement, her expression one of fascination. "You are not following the usual protocols," she said, her voice soft. "And yet, it works. Humans have an unusual way of observing patterns others overlook." Ethan shrugged. "I guess I just notice things differently. I follow what feels right, not always what is expected." "Precisely," Leora said, nodding. "It is why I came to you. Many could repair the device technically. Few could understand its essence. Few could adapt." As they worked, Ethan noticed that the more he experimented, the more the device seemed to respond to him personally, almost as if it recognized his approach. The circuits glowed brighter, energy pulses smoothing, and the alien symbol shimmered faintly as if in approval. He realized that Leora's technology was designed for flexibility, but it needed a mind willing to improvise, willing to think beyond logic. By midday, a breakthrough came. Ethan discovered a method to synchronize the energy pulses with the control interface in a way that hadn't been documented anywhere. It was a combination of trial, error, and intuition, human creativity in action. Leora's eyes widened. "That is remarkable. You are creating patterns that even my civilization has not tried. Your species is unique, truly unique." Ethan laughed softly, feeling a warmth in her praise. "I'm just doing what seems natural. I don't know if it's remarkable." "It is remarkable," she said firmly, "and it will make a difference beyond your understanding. Today, humans are showing what they are capable of. I am proud to witness it." The afternoon passed in a blur of activity. They tested sequences, recalibrated energy outputs, and adjusted controls. Ethan's confidence grew with each success, while Leora's admiration deepened. She watched him work, sometimes offering theoretical explanations but rarely interfering, letting him make discoveries for himself. Finally, by evening, they completed the interface calibration. The device hummed steadily, energy pulses perfectly synchronized, systems fully operational. Ethan leaned back, exhausted but satisfied. "It's ready," he said, a sense of relief washing over him. "I think we've done it." Leora studied the device carefully, her glowing eyes reflecting the soft light. "Yes, it is ready. You have done what many thought impossible. You have brought balance where others could not." Ethan smiled faintly. "Feels good to know I actually made a difference." "It is more than good," she said. "It is proof that humans are underestimated across the stars. Your creativity, your ability to adapt, it is a rare gift. One that has saved my world today, and may save many others in the future." He paused, realizing the weight of her words. "Saved your world? I didn't think it was that serious." "It is serious," Leora said, stepping closer. "The device stabilizes the energy grid of my planet. Without it, the upcoming cosmic storm could have caused catastrophic failures. Entire cities, perhaps even millions of lives, were at risk." Ethan's heart raced. He had always solved technical problems before, but this was life and death on a planetary scale, and he had done it. His mind, his human intuition had made the difference. "Your species," Leora continued, "may not have the longevity or raw strength of some alien civilizations, but your creativity, courage, and ingenuity, these are unmatched. Today, a human mind has outperformed technology that has existed for centuries." Ethan looked at her, a mixture of pride and humility filling him. "I never thought humans were that special. I just thought, we're stubborn and curious." "Stubborn and curious," Leora said with a small smile, "and in your case, brilliant. That is why you succeeded where others would fail. You are a human. You think differently, and in thinking differently, you achieve what others cannot even imagine. As the evening progressed, Leora explained more about the device's purpose. She told him about her planet, its advanced technology, and the unique challenges her people faced. Ethan listened intently, fascinated by the complexity of her civilization, and yet, he realized that human intuition had filled a gap no amount of alien logic could. The conversation shifted naturally from technology to culture. Leora was curious about Earth, about humanity, about the things that made humans resilient, adaptive, and capable of surprise. Ethan answered her questions, sharing stories of Earth's history, its inventions, and the stubborn human spirit that often succeeded against the odds. You humans, Leora said softly, even in small numbers can influence the outcome of events in ways we never anticipate. Today, one human has altered the fate of millions. Imagine what more your species could achieve if given the chance. Ethan chuckled, humbled by her words. I never thought I'd hear that from someone who clearly knows a lot more than me. She smiled faintly, looking around his small apartment. Knowledge is nothing without creativity to apply it. You have that, and that is why I sought you out. Others may have knowledge. Others may have power. But humans, you have the spark to change the universe in ways we cannot predict. They worked together late into the night, refining small systems, testing new possibilities, and exchanging ideas. Ethan realized that Leora was more than an envoy. She was a collaborator, a student of human ingenuity just as much as he was learning from her. They challenged each other, learning new ways to approach problems, blending human intuition with alien knowledge. By the end of the night, the device was fully operational, stronger than Leora had ever seen, thanks to Ethan's unique approach. She studied it, her glowing eyes filled with quiet admiration. You have done more than repair this device, she said softly. You have shown me that humans are capable of far more than I imagined. Your kind is underestimated across the galaxy. Today you have proven that a human mind given a challenge can achieve greatness. Ethan leaned back, exhausted but content. He had never imagined that his skills, his intuition, could have such an impact. And yet the proof was right in front of him. Leora's world, her civilization, had been saved by a human. As they sat together in silence, the hum of the device filling the room, Ethan realized something profound. He had always thought of humans as ordinary, limited to their small planet. But today he had seen what humans could do when their minds were truly tested. Humans were special. Humans were capable of greatness, and perhaps, he thought, the universe had underestimated them for too long. Leora's voice broke through his thoughts. Tomorrow, we will prepare for the final phase. Your intuition has brought us this far, but the real test is still ahead. A cosmic storm approaches, and we must ensure the device can withstand it fully. Are you ready, human? Ethan nodded, a spark of determination lighting his eyes. I'm ready. Let's do it. And for the first time in a long while, Ethan felt the full weight of his potential, not just as an engineer, not just as a human on a small space station, but as a mind capable of shaping outcomes across the stars. The night deepened, and the stars outside continued their silent dance. Ethan knew that the real challenge was just beginning. But with Leora at his side, and the spark of human ingenuity guiding him, he felt ready to face whatever the universe could throw at him. The next day began with a quiet tension in the space station. Ethan woke early, his mind already buzzing with thoughts of the upcoming test. The device they had worked on for hours was now fully operational, but the real challenge was only beginning. Outside, the distant stars sparkled as usual, but Leora's calm expression betrayed her knowledge of the approaching danger. Ethan met her at the workbench. She had brought additional monitoring equipment, tools, and data pads filled with alien symbols and diagrams. It was clear that today would not be just about testing the device. It would be about surviving the cosmic storm and proving the limits of human ingenuity. Are you ready? Leora asked, her luminous eyes fixed on him. Once the storm reaches full intensity, there will be no room for error. Ethan nodded, a mixture of excitement and nerves churning inside him. I'm ready. Let's do this. The station's external sensors soon picked up the first signs of the storm. Energetic waves rippled through space, glowing faintly in the distance like ribbons of light. The cosmic storm was not only a visual spectacle, but a deadly force capable of destabilizing entire planetary systems. Ethan watched, fascinated and apprehensive, as the energy waves grew closer. Leora monitored the device closely. "This is the moment," she said. "The device must adapt to the storm's fluctuations. Your human intuition will guide it in ways my calculations cannot." Ethan leaned over the control panel, his fingers flying across the interface. He had studied the patterns of the storm, but its energy was chaotic, unpredictable. The device reacted to each pulse differently, and he had to think fast, adjust sequences, and anticipate the next wave before it arrived. As the storm intensified, alarms began to sound throughout the station. Panels flickered, and the hum of the life support systems changed in pitch. Ethan felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him, but he didn't panic. He had faced complex problems before, but this was different. The fate of an entire planet depended on his ability to improvise, adapt, and think beyond standard logic. Leora's eyes never left him. "Do not rely solely on procedure," she reminded him. "Think creatively. Humans excel when they are forced to act beyond expectation." Ethan nodded, taking a deep breath. He started to modify the device's energy distribution, redirecting power to stabilize the core. Each adjustment required split-second decisions, as the storm's unpredictable waves threatened to overload the system. He worked feverishly, testing connections, adjusting energy flows, and improvising solutions. Minutes felt like hours as the storm battered the station. The device pulsed violently, and Ethan had to make rapid calculations in his head. He realized that some of the alien circuits responded only to intuitive input, patterns that could not be predicted with logic alone. He relied on instinct, human intuition guiding his hands as he adjusted the device. Leora observed silently, her admiration growing with each successful adjustment. "You are extraordinary," she said softly. "Your species, it thinks differently. Where others would fail, you improvise. Where others would panic, you adapt." Ethan didn't have time to respond. Another wave of energy struck the station, and the device emitted a sharp pulse. Lights flickered, and the monitoring panels displayed warnings of potential overload. He quickly rerouted power, stabilizing the system just in time. The adrenaline surged through him, sharpening his focus. "This is incredible," Leora said, almost to herself. "No being has managed this before. A human, balancing energy patterns that even my civilization could not predict." Ethan worked tirelessly, adjusting, calibrating, and improvising. The storm's intensity grew, and the station shook with each wave. Yet he remained calm, focused, and determined. His mind raced, connecting ideas, anticipating outcomes, and finding solutions that no procedure could provide. Hours passed. Ethan's hands moved almost automatically, guided by intuition and experience. Leora offered subtle guidance, pointing out potential weak spots, but she let him take the lead. Together, they formed a rhythm, a human mind blending with alien technology, intuition meeting precision. Finally, as the storm reached its peak, the device stabilized completely. Energy flows synchronized perfectly, and the chaotic pulses of the storm were absorbed and redirected safely. Ethan leaned back, exhausted but triumphant. He had done it. Human creativity, adaptability, and courage had triumphed over one of the universe's most dangerous forces. Leora's eyes shone with awe. "You have done the impossible," she said. "Your species, underestimated for too long. Humans are capable of greatness beyond imagination. Today, one human has protected millions." Ethan felt a surge of pride. He had always known that humans had potential, but experiencing it in this way, saving a world, confronting forces far beyond comprehension, was beyond anything he had imagined. You think humans are special?" he asked, still catching his breath. Leora nodded. "Without a doubt. Humans have qualities that even advanced civilizations cannot replicate. Creativity, courage, intuition, and the ability to improvise under pressure. You have proven today that these qualities can change the course of events in the galaxy." Ethan smiled faintly, humbled. I didn't think I was that special. I just tried to do my best." That is precisely what makes you special, Leora said. Humans do not always rely on rules or expectations. You act, adapt, and overcome. That is why you succeeded where others would have failed. The storm slowly subsided, leaving the station intact and the device fully operational. Ethan sat back, finally allowing himself to relax. Leora placed a hand on the device, her eyes reflecting quiet satisfaction. "You have done more than stabilize the device," she said softly. "You have proven what humans can do. Your species may be underestimated, but your potential is limitless. Today, you have shown that even one human mind can achieve what many consider impossible." Ethan looked at her, a mixture of exhaustion and pride in his eyes. "It's hard to believe. I mean, we're just humans. I never thought we could do something like this." "You are not just humans," Leora said firmly. "You are extraordinary. Today, you have changed perceptions not just for me, but for many across the stars. Your ingenuity, courage, and adaptability have saved a civilization." They spent the next few hours analyzing the data from the device and the storm. Ethan explained his methods, showing how he had improvised and adapted. Leora listened intently, occasionally nodding in agreement. She was fascinated by the human approach, the way Ethan's mind could solve problems with creativity and intuition that no technology or alien training could replicate. By the time the station's artificial evening arrived, the two of them had formed a rhythm, working together seamlessly. Ethan realized that this partnership, human and alien, intuition and precision, was something powerful. Together, they could face challenges that neither could overcome alone. Leora finally stood back, her eyes reflecting admiration. "You have done more than save my planet," she said. "You have proven that humans are capable of extraordinary feats. I have seen many civilizations, many species, but never one that adapts and improvises like yours. Today, humans have changed the course of the galaxy, even if they do not realize it." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. He had always believed in human potential, but hearing it from someone like Leora made it real. He realized that humans were special not because of strength or speed, but because of the mind, the courage, and the ability to think beyond the ordinary. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for believing in me." Leora smiled, her presence calming and reassuring. "No, Ethan. Thank you for showing me. You have reminded me that creativity and courage can overcome forces even the most advanced technology cannot. You are a human, and that is enough to change the universe." As they prepared for the night, Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. The storm had tested him, challenged him, and yet, he had triumphed. He realized that human ingenuity, adaptability, and courage were not just traits, they were gifts that could shape the fate of worlds. Outside, the stars continued their silent dance, unchanging and eternal. But inside the station, something had changed. Ethan had faced the storm, adapted, and succeeded. He had proven that even one human, with determination and intuition, could achieve the impossible. Leora glanced at him one last time before preparing to leave for the night. "Rest well, Ethan. Tomorrow there will be more challenges. The storm has passed, but the journey is far from over. Your mind will continue to be tested, and I have no doubt you will rise to the occasion." Ethan nodded, a spark of determination lighting his eyes. "I'm ready. Whatever comes next, we'll handle it." And as the station settled into the quiet hum of systems running smoothly, Ethan felt the full weight of what he had accomplished. He had faced a cosmic storm, saved a civilization, and proven the extraordinary power of human intuition and ingenuity. He knew that the universe had underestimated humans for too long, and that one human mind, properly challenged, could achieve greatness beyond imagination. The storm had passed, but the aftermath revealed challenges Ethan had not anticipated. The device had survived the cosmic turbulence, its systems humming steadily, but the universe rarely gave triumph without testing further. Leora's calm demeanor masked a sense of urgency, and Ethan quickly realized that stabilizing the device was only the first step in a larger mission. "We have weathered the storm," Leora said as they reviewed the monitoring data together. but the energy fluctuations it caused have created instabilities in the outer planetary grid. If left unchecked, these could cause long-term disruptions. Ethan frowned, leaning over the data pads. So, even though the device worked, there's more we need to do? Yes, she replied. The device is functional, yes. But to ensure the safety of my planet, we need to adapt it further. It must learn to respond in real time to unpredictable cosmic energy. That is why I need you, Ethan. Humans excel in improvisation. Machines cannot anticipate everything. He nodded, feeling the familiar rush of determination. This was more than a challenge now. It was a test of endurance, creativity, and adaptability. He rolled up his sleeves and began examining the device again, tracing energy flows, analyzing patterns, and considering ways to modify its response systems. The first few hours were filled with trial and error. Ethan experimented with routing energy through auxiliary circuits, testing feedback loops and adjusting calibration parameters. The device responded variably, sometimes stabilizing perfectly, other times faltering unexpectedly. Each failure was a learning opportunity, and Ethan took meticulous notes, jotting ideas on scraps of paper and digital pads alike. Leora observed, occasionally offering insights into how her civilization approached similar problems. She explained the principles behind the technology, but she never dictated solutions. Instead, she watched Ethan work, fascinated by the uniquely human ability to improvise. You approach problems differently than we do, she said. We follow strict logic, structured systems. Humans, you think creatively, you adapt instinctively. That is why you succeed where others fail. Ethan paused, glancing at her. I guess I just try to make sense of things in the moment. I don't always follow the rules, but I find solutions. That is precisely why you are invaluable, Leora replied. Your species has qualities that cannot be replicated. Adaptability, creativity, intuition. These are what allow humans to achieve greatness, even under extreme circumstances. As the day progressed, Ethan's adjustments began to take effect. The device started to respond more predictably to fluctuations in the energy grid, adapting in real time to the residual turbulence caused by the storm. Small pulses stabilized, circuits synchronized, and the alien symbols glowed steadily, indicating optimal functionality. Yet, just as relief began to settle in, a new challenge emerged. The station's sensors detected a series of energy anomalies approaching from a nearby system, smaller than the cosmic storm, but still powerful enough to disrupt the device's delicate balance. Ethan realized that this was no ordinary test. He would need to think quickly, anticipate energy fluctuations, and implement solutions in real time. Leora's voice broke the tension. This is where your intuition is crucial. The anomalies are unpredictable. My technology cannot respond to them fully. You must guide the device, anticipate patterns, and adapt. Ethan's hands flew across the controls, analyzing incoming data, predicting energy shifts, and rerouting power flows. He adjusted circuits on the fly, recalibrated feedback loops, and monitored the device's responses. Each second was critical, and the pressure was immense. Hours passed in intense focus. The anomalies pulsed and shifted unpredictably, yet Ethan remained steady. His mind worked faster than the machines themselves, finding patterns, correcting errors, and stabilizing the device's output. Leora watched silently, her eyes filled with admiration. You are extraordinary, she said softly. Even under immense pressure, your species adapts, improvises, and overcomes. No other species I have encountered could do this with such precision and instinct. Ethan smiled faintly, though fatigue was beginning to show. I'm just trying to keep it steady. I've done similar things before, though nothing this extreme. Your experience is enhanced by human intuition, Leora said. It is your gift, your strength. Today, your creativity is saving more than just a device. It is protecting a civilization. As night fell in the station's artificial cycle, the anomalies subsided. Ethan leaned back, exhausted but satisfied. The device had adapted, stabilized, and now responded to unpredictable energy patterns flawlessly. He had guided it through challenges that even the most advanced alien algorithms could not manage. Leora placed a hand on the device, her touch gentle yet reverent. You have done more than I imagined possible. Your species is remarkable. Ethan, you have demonstrated qualities that even advanced civilizations cannot replicate. Intuition, creativity, courage, and the ability to improvise under pressure. Ethan glanced at her, humbled. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I was just doing what felt right. That is exactly why it is a big deal, she said. Your actions were guided by instinct, by the human ability to adapt and overcome. That is a trait that will define your species in the eyes of others. Today, humans have proven they are capable of extraordinary feats. They spent the next hours reviewing the data, analyzing every adjustment Ethan had made. Leora was meticulous in her observations, recording details about his methods, trying to understand the human mind's approach to problem-solving. Ethan explained each decision, each adjustment, and the reasoning behind it. Leora listened, fascinated, recognizing that human creativity could achieve outcomes that logic alone could not predict. By the end of the artificial night, the device was fully operational, more stable and adaptive than Leora had ever seen. Ethan had guided it through not just the aftermath of the cosmic storm, but also a series of unpredictable energy anomalies. His human intuition, creativity, and adaptability had ensured success where technology and alien expertise alone could not. You have done more than stabilize a device, Leora said quietly, her eyes reflecting admiration. You have proven what humans can achieve when tested. Your species is underestimated across the galaxy, but today one human mind has changed that perception. You have saved countless lives and proven that ingenuity, courage, and creativity are qualities that can rival even the most advanced civilizations. Ethan felt a sense of pride that went beyond personal achievement. He had always known humans were special, but experiencing it firsthand, saving a world, overcoming challenges no one expected him to succeed at, made it tangible. He realized that human potential was limitless when challenged, when given the opportunity to adapt, improvise, and innovate. Leora's voice softened. Rest now, Ethan. Tomorrow brings new challenges, and I have no doubt that your human mind will rise to meet them. You have proven that even one human can achieve greatness beyond imagination. Ethan nodded, exhaustion and pride washing over him. As he prepared to rest, he reflected on what had happened. He had faced the cosmic storm, guided the device through unpredictable energy anomalies, and proven that human creativity and intuition were unmatched in certain circumstances. He felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that humans, with their unique approach to problem-solving, could influence outcomes across the stars. Outside the station, the stars continued their silent dance, indifferent to the struggles and triumphs of those who floated among them. But inside, something had changed. Ethan had faced unimaginable challenges, adapted, and triumphed. He had demonstrated that human minds, with courage, creativity, and intuition, could achieve feats that technology and alien knowledge alone could not. Leora watched him prepare for rest, a quiet smile on her lips. The universe has underestimated humans for too long, she said softly. But today, one human has reminded me, and all who witness this, that your species is extraordinary. Tomorrow the journey continues, and I have no doubt that humans will continue to astonish. Ethan settled into his small bunk, the hum of the device filling the room. He closed his eyes, letting the exhaustion of the day wash over him. Yet beneath the fatigue there was a spark of excitement. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new tests, and new opportunities to prove what humans could do. And for the first time, Ethan felt truly connected to the vastness of the universe. He understood that his ingenuity, courage, and ability to adapt were not just personal traits. They were the essence of what made humans special. One human mind, properly challenged, could influence the fate of worlds and perhaps one day, even the course of the galaxy. As the station's systems hummed quietly, Ethan drifted into sleep, ready to face whatever the universe had in store next. The challenges ahead would be greater, the tests more demanding, but he knew he was prepared. Humans were underestimated, yes, but now he had the chance to prove that they were capable of greatness beyond imagination. The artificial dawn on the station arrived quietly. Soft golden light filtered through the observation panels, painting long streaks across the floor. Ethan woke slowly, still tired but satisfied from the previous night's success. The hum of the repaired systems was steady now, almost comforting. For the first time in days, the space around him felt calm. Leora stood by the central console, studying streams of holographic data. She looked serene, but Ethan could sense something different in her expression. There was gratitude, yes, but also concern. You were awake early, he said as he approached, rubbing his eyes. There was no sleep for me, Leora replied. The storm has passed and the energy field around my world is stable again. But there is something else. The same anomalies that we encountered yesterday are appearing near another star system. Ethan blinked. Another one? She nodded. If the pattern continues, the cosmic storms will spread across the sector. Many worlds could suffer if we do not act soon. He sighed softly. So the universe isn't done testing us yet? No, she said quietly. But we are better prepared now. The device is stable and responsive. It can be expanded to protect others. I will need to take it back to my people, but I was hoping. She hesitated, searching for the right words. Ethan waited patiently. I was hoping you would come with me, she said finally. You understand the device better than anyone. You see patterns even my people cannot. We need your mind, your way of thinking. You can help us prevent the next catastrophe. Ethan stood silent for a moment. The idea of leaving the station, traveling to an alien world, working side by side with a civilization that had once doubted humanity, it was thrilling. Yet it was also daunting. I'm just one engineer, he said with a small laugh. You really think I can make that big a difference? Leora's voice was calm but certain. Yes, you have already proven that a single human can save a world. Imagine what more you could do among others who will listen. He looked out through the observation window at the vast ocean of stars. Somewhere out there her world awaited. Somewhere people he had never met depended on his creativity and courage. He nodded slowly. Then let's go. Within hours they prepared the small shuttle that would take them down to Leora's home planet. The descent through its atmosphere was breathtaking. Clouds shimmered like silver veils, and below them stretched cities of glass and light. The architecture seemed to flow like living crystal, shaped by design and nature together. As they landed, groups of aliens, tall, graceful beings with luminous skin, gathered around the platform. They looked at Ethan curiously, whispering among themselves. Leora stepped forward, raising her hand in greeting. This is Ethan, she said clearly, the human who helped us restore the device and stabilize the storm. A soft murmur spread through the crowd. Ethan felt slightly nervous under their glowing gazes, but Leora's steady presence reassured him. A council of elders emerged from the crowd, their robes shimmering like woven starlight. One of them stepped forward. You are the human who guided the device through chaos? The elder asked. Ethan nodded. I just did what I could. We worked together. The elder inclined his head. Your kind was once thought to be primitive, but it seems we have underestimated humanity. Ethan smiled awkwardly. Humans do that too. We underestimate ourselves all the time. Leora's lips curved slightly. And that, she said to the elder, is exactly why they succeed. Over the next days, Ethan worked tirelessly with Leora's scientists. Together they studied the energy patterns that had caused the storm. The alien scientists were brilliant but structured, their methods precise yet rigid. Ethan brought something new, a flexible way of seeing problems. When equations failed, he sketched ideas on walls, used analogies, and improvised small models from scraps. His methods were unconventional but effective. At first, some of the scientists doubted him. They whispered about human unpredictability, about how Earth was still a young world. But as the days passed, results silenced them. The device now adapted perfectly to complex energy waves, responding even faster than before. One evening, as they stood on a terrace overlooking the luminous city, Leora spoke softly. They understand now. They see that humans are not defined by their technology, but by their imagination. Ethan smiled faintly. I think imagination is humanity's oldest tool. We build what we can dream. She turned to him, her expression thoughtful. You have given us more than stability, Ethan. You have given us perspective. My people once believed logic alone could shape destiny. You have shown that creativity and courage are just as powerful. He looked out at the glowing skyline. Maybe it's because humans are used to being small in a big universe. When you feel small, you learn to adapt. You learn to fight chaos with creativity. For a while, they stood in silence, watching the twin moons rise. But peace never lasted long in their story. The next morning, alarms echoed through the facility. Ethan and Leora rushed to the control center where scientists shouted data back and forth. On the main display, a massive energy surge appeared, larger than any previous storm. It's spreading faster than expected, one of them said. If it continues, it could collapse the energy network across the planet. Leora turned to Ethan. Can the device handle this? He studied the readings, his mind racing. It can, if we modify its output to respond in dynamic bursts instead of a constant flow, but that means it'll have to predict fluctuations faster than ever before. She understood immediately. And only you can adjust it that way. Ethan moved to the console, his hands flying over the holographic controls. The room filled with tense silence. Outside, thunderous flashes of light streaked across the alien sky, painting it violet and gold. Every instinct told him that this storm was different. It was alive, almost reactive, responding to every energy output the device made. The room trembled as the atmosphere thickened with electric charge. "Ethan," Leora called out. "The energy levels are reaching critical." "I know," he shouted, still focused on the data. "If I can reroute the phase current, we might create a resonance buffer, something that absorbs the fluctuations before they hit the grid." He typed commands, adjusting parameters faster than any machine could predict. The device pulsed, glowing brighter and brighter. For a moment, it seemed like it would overload completely. Then, with a deep hum, it stabilized. The storm outside began to fade, its violent colors softening into calm waves of light. The tension in the room broke. Scientists exhaled in relief, some cheering quietly. Leora turned to Ethan, her eyes shining. "You did it again," she said, almost whispering. "You turned chaos into balance." Ethan leaned back, breathing hard. "We did it," he said. "All of us." Later, when calm returned to the city, the council called for a public address. Thousands of Leora's people gathered in the central square, a place where light and sound seemed to blend in harmony. The elders stood before the crowd, with Ethan and Leora beside them. One elder spoke loudly, his voice echoing through the square. "Today, our world stands safe because of cooperation, because of the courage of one human and the understanding of our people. Let it be known that humanity, though small in number among the stars, carries strength not measured by technology but by heart." The crowd responded with a wave of sound. Not quite cheers, but something more melodic, an alien form of appreciation that resonated through the air. Ethan felt humbled beyond words. He wasn't used to being celebrated, and yet here he was, on a world far from Earth, honored for the simplest thing he knew how to do: think differently. After the ceremony, Leora found him standing quietly near the edge of the square. "You look overwhelmed," she said gently. He laughed softly. "Yeah. On Earth, I fix broken machines. Here I fix storms," she smiled. "And that is why humans are remarkable. You see problems not as threats, but as puzzles to be solved. You turn fear into creation." He looked at her thoughtfully. "And maybe that's why we're out here in the first place. Humanity explores because we can't stop trying to understand things." Leora nodded. "That curiosity will shape the future. You have shown my people that partnership with humans is not only wise, it is essential." They walked back toward the station together. The stars shone brightly above, clearer than ever. The storm was gone, the energy grid stable, and the collaboration between two species stronger than before. As they reached the launch platform, Leora turned to him once more. "There is a saying among my people," she said softly. "Every storm that passes leaves behind clearer skies. You have given us that clarity." Ethan smiled. "And you've given me a reason to believe humans belong out here, with the stars." When he finally returned to his station, the silence felt different. It was no longer isolation, it was peace. The universe felt smaller now, familiar. He knew that somewhere out there, allies were watching, remembering what a single human had done. He sat by the observation window, watching the distant glow of Leora's planet. In his hand was the small device she had given him, a compact version of the stabilizer, half alien design, half human modification. A symbol of their shared success. Ethan thought about everything that had happened: the storm, the doubts, the triumphs. He realized that the greatest discovery wasn't a piece of technology or a scientific breakthrough. It was the truth that creativity and courage were universal languages. Humans didn't need to be the strongest or the most advanced.